Okay, this video is meant to be information about the CS major and CS minor for ISU students, mostly geared towards current students. This is the CS webpage. If you go to cs.indstate.edu, it'll go here. I am Jeff Kinney, the program director, and I'm going to click through some of this information that you can use to get information about what classes to take and when to take them. So if you're an undergraduate, I'm talking about the undergraduate major here, click on the program. There's some information about the concentrations. Let's look at the major first. And this link is for the official catalog of requirements for those who start the major this year. Those who start the major in a different year would be under a different catalog unless you ask for a change. For those who start this year, this is the program. There's a set of required courses. There's 2 concentrations. And okay, so that's it. Let's look at the required courses. The first 3 courses are taken in this order. So the first semester is traditionally this course, which is basically an introduction to programming and some computer science concepts. Second semester is normally computer science 1, and third semester is computer science 2 and data structures. And this information there's a 4-year plan that shows this as well, that I'll click on. So that pretty much gives you the basics of programming and algorithms and problem solving that you'll need in all the other classes. The rest of these here are required for both concentrations. They're the most important parts that are common to everybody that's working in the CS area. So computer architecture is basically how does a CPU control the computer, how is that organized. Software engineering is about processes for developing software in large or small companies. Systems programming is a programming course that focuses on interfacing with the operating system and some other issues. Programming languages will give you a look at the choices in designing programming languages and how those choices affect programming. In operating systems, you look at how does the operating system actually work and share resources between different processes. And you ended up with a senior seminar. Now the concentrations. So one of these has to be completed, and then there are 6 credits of electives. The information concentration is basically the courses that are not in the required part but are more applied. So these are more directly related to specific jobs, a web programming job, a database job, Unix administration, or networking. The CS concentration, computing science concentration, these are courses that have traditionally been in a CS major since CS majors existed. Traditionally, CS majors took calculus and theory of computation and algorithms, and formal methods goes in with those as well. These 3 courses are the more math-heavy courses with proofs and things like that in the CS major. Most students will end up doing at least a few courses from this concentration, even if they do the computing science concentration. And if you do the information science concentration, you probably should still take either algorithms or theory of computation, just to get that type of course. What it ends up being is if you have calculus or you're planning on taking calculus anyway, then you may as well do this concentration. And if you're really afraid of calculus, if it's going to be a major problem for you, you can do the information concentration, information science. All right, let's go back. There's a minor. And the current version of the minor, if you declare the minor now, is you take the first 3 classes in the major and then 3 elective courses, with 2 of those being 300 or 400 level. Okay, so that's the minor, and it's sort of half of a major. And a lot of IT students will do this. So if IT students take 201 and 202 and the courses for their IT major, they'll just about be there. This stuff about concentrations is talking about which concentration to choose. That is into the programs. If you want more information about specific courses, there's a link here to the list of courses in the official catalog. You can look at the schedule of CS classes going back a number of years to see when courses are normally offered. And you can see here the list of courses and course websites for ones that are publicly available, and a little bit about which programming languages are used. Okay, if we go back over to advising, there's general information, including the 4-year plan of study, the 3-year plan of study, and the 2-year plan of study. If you look at the 4-year plan of study, that's for people entering the fall as first-year students and going straight through. These are courses that are required for both concentrations and when they would normally be taken. And these are courses in the 2 different concentrations and when they would normally be taken. And you can see the normal, so especially important is the first 2 years. If you take the courses in the first 2 years in this sequence, they'll work out. Regardless of, so this 451 and 456, they could technically be taken later, but they're really foundational, so most people should be taking them in the spring, in their 4th semester if possible. For those who, and there's some information here about if you start in the spring instead of the fall. For those who come in as transfer students, or they switch majors and they need to do the major in 3 years, it's possible. This is the way it looks. If you look at the senior year here, you've got in the spring 3 courses plus another, so that's 4 upper level CS courses at once. That's pretty heavy. That's why it's not preferable to do the major in 3 years. It's better to get a start early if you can. The 2-year plan of study is assuming that you come in with transfer credit from somewhere like Ivy Tech and you have some of your first courses taken care of. So this is pretty much only for people that come in with a degree from Ivy Tech in CS, associate's degree. Okay, if we go back up here, there's a useful link here that shows, it's a picture of the prerequisites, which courses are required for others. Okay, so if you look here, the things at the top, there are no prerequisites, except for, okay, calculus it has its own set of prerequisites, but that's not a CS class. Most people start with CS 151, that's Intro to Computer Science, and then they go to Computer Science 1, Computer Science 2, and then most of the rest of the courses in the major are available after Computer Science 2. That's what these lines mean. Some of the upper level courses need CS 303, the Discrete Structures course. And there's this prerequisite of Web Programming to Web Programming 2. So this shows you what's possible if you've taken certain courses. These are the ones that become possible. So if you've done 151, 201, 170, then these ones here are available to you. For this Web Programming 2 and Unix, Linux Administration and Networking, we pick those to only have 201 as a prereq because those are the ones most likely that IT majors are going to want to take. So then these become available if you've taken CS 201. This key here shows that the bold highlighted boxes are required for the CS major, the dash ones are for the computing science concentration, the dotted ones are for the information science concentration, and then these courses here are in the IT major. There's a little bit more information up here which gives some thoughts about courses that are not computer science that are good to take. For looking at the schedule of classes, there's always kept here a link of the next terms when they're available. Right now it's the fall, and the spring schedule is shown here. So this will show all CS courses. It'll show who the instructor is, the dates and times, something that you might not be aware of. I'll pick 151 here. You can look at the capacity, which is currently set to 25, and there's 0 signed up because nobody signed up for classes yet. So you could check the difference between these two to see how many seats are left. And some of the courses we put a lower capacity initially than is really possible, so that we can save seats or make sure that the courses get filled up equally. So CS 151 will have 3 sections. We put each of those at 25, and then as they fill up, we increase that capacity. Something else to keep in mind that people aren't always aware of is the 400 level courses, the way the capacities work there. Let's look at architecture, CS 451. The capacity there is 20, but the room it's in can probably handle 40. But CS 551 is the same course, the grad version of the course, and that also has a capacity of 20. If you're looking at 400 or 500 level courses, if there's a section of both, you have to look at the capacities for both and how many students are enrolled in both. You probably also want to look at the frequently asked questions for some advice about life in general, and maybe some of these other things are worth clicking around at too. But that should be enough to get you started. If you have questions, you get in touch with your advisor. Any instructor in any of your courses is glad to answer some basic questions, and then you can always contact me as well.